I bet everyone listening uses a password manager every day.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Probably without even thinking about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that little app or that browser extension.
Right.
Keeps all your crazy logins straight.
Yeah. It's become essential, I think. Just think about it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like our online lives are so complex now,
Huh.
Just remembering even a handful of strong, unique
Oh,
passwords
yeah. Forget about it.
would be impossible.
That's why I find it fascinating to sort of dig a little deeper.
Mm-hmm.
How do password managers work?
Right.
Where do they come from? What kind of challenges are they facing? All that sort of stuff.
Well, I think you'd be surprised how relatively new they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like dedicated password managers,
Okay.
they only came about in the early 2000s
Oh, wow.
when the number of online accounts we had just started to explode.
So before that, what were people doing?
Uh,
Just like writing them on sticky notes?
I mean, you're not far off.
Really?
It was a mix of, you know,
Trying to memorize them,
yeah, good luck.
which good luck with that. Keeping handwritten lists,
Yeah.
which, you could lose pretty easily.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, even the dreaded sticky note approach.
Talk about a security nightmare.
Yeah.
No wonder dedicated password managers came about.
Yeah.
But even then, like there were some early attempts I remember to completely reclose passwords
Right.
with things like biometrics
Yeah.
or those little hardware tokens.
True. But those haven't really taken off
Yeah.
in a mainstream way, at least not yet.
Yeah.
Passwords are still so deeply embedded in how the internet works.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah,
So password managers stepped in to kind of help us manage this chaos.
exactly.
And there's a few main types that have developed over the years.
Absolutely. You've got your standalone apps,
Okay.
you've got your browser extensions,
Hmm.
and then you have password managers that are built right into some browsers. Let's break those down a bit because I think that's key to choosing the right one.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about those standalone apps?
So standalone apps like KeePass XC are often favored by people who are really security conscious.
Yeah.
They offer a lot of strong features and often with the option to store your password vault offline.
So you have more control over your data,
Right.
but it might not be as convenient as some of the other options.
Yeah, that's the trade-off, right?
Right.
And then you have browser extensions like LastPass and Bitwarden.
Okay.
And these strike more of a balance between the security and the ease of use
Okay.
because they're right there in your browser, ready to generate strong passwords
Right.
and autofill forms.
Oh, that autofill is such a lifesaver.
Right.
But I know some people are a little wary of those browser-based managers.
Mm-hmm.
The kind that are built into Chrome or Firefox, for example.
And there are some valid concerns, right?
Yeah.
That they're very convenient because they're already there,
Right.
but they might not have all the bells and whistles. Yeah.
Of the dedicated apps or extensions.
Okay.
And their security can be a little harder to assess
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on how secure your operating system is.
Interesting. So it's kind of a balancing act
Yeah,
between convenience and features
for sure.
and the level of security that you're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But no matter which type you choose,
Yeah.
one thing is clear. Password managers have gone way beyond just remembering website logins.
Yeah.
They're like digital vaults
That's true.
for all sorts of sensitive information.
Yeah, it's like having a personal assistant for your online life.
Right.
They can generate those ridiculously complex passwords that we're supposed to be using these days.
That's right.
Store them across all our devices.
Yep.
Even help with password audits
Yeah.
to make sure that you're not reusing the same weak password everywhere.
Absolutely. They can even store credit card information secure notes,
Oh, wow.
even software licenses.
Really? Some can even help you securely share passwords with family members or colleagues.
So it's not just about convenience.
Right.
It's also about having a centralized, secure place
Exactly.
for all this vital information.
Hey, got it. But, even with all these advancements,
Hmm.
password managers are not perfect.
Right.
They still face some serious technological challenges.
That's right. And some of those challenges come from just how quickly the digital landscape is changing.
Yeah.
Like a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't nearly as concerned about things like metadata privacy.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, that whole idea of how much information we're leaking
Right.
just by using certain websites and apps.
Exactly.
It's a little unnerving.
It is. And password managers need to be designed in a way
Right.
that protects not just our passwords,
Yeah.
but also that sensitive metadata
Right.
about our accounts.
So how are they doing on that front?
Yeah.
What are some of the latest innovations that are addressing those kinds of challenges? Well, one area that's seen huge progress is encryption.
Okay.
Password managers now are using incredibly strong encryption algorithms
Yeah.
to protect those password vaults.
Okay.
I mean, it would take a ridiculously long time
Yeah.
for even the most powerful computers to crack them.
Oh, that's reassuring.
It is. And then there's the move towards things like memory hard key derivation functions,
Okay.
which basically make brute force attacks,
Uh-huh.
where hackers are just guessing passwords,
Right.
much more difficult.
So they're adding layer upon layer of protection
Exactly.
to make it as hard as possible for the bad guys to get in.
Exactly. And beyond just making things harder to crack,
Yeah.
they're also getting smarter about things like phishing
Okay.
and compromised websites.
How so?
Well, some password managers are incorporating features
Okay.
that can actually detect
Okay.
and warn users if they're on a suspicious site
Oh, wow.
or if there are signs of a phishing attempt.
So they're becoming more proactive about our security, not just reactive.
You got it. And there's a lot of work going into making password managers
Mm-hmm.
even easier to use,
Yeah.
especially for people who aren't that tech savvy,
Right.
because if they're too complicated,
Right.
people just won't use them.
Makes sense. It has to be a balance.
Yeah,
Right.
it does.
Top-notch security, but still user-friendly.
That's right.
It's not an easy thing to pull off.
It's not. And all of these advancements really come to life
Uh-huh.
when you look at some specific examples
Okay.
of popular password managers,
Right.
like take KeePass XC, for instance.
Mhm.
Its open source nature
Yeah.
means that anyone can look at the code,
Okay.
which helps build trust and transparency.
I get that more eyes on the code means more people can potentially spot vulnerabilities.
Right.
It's like a community effort.
You keep it secure.
That's the idea. And it's cross-platform, too.
Huh?
So you can use it on Windows, Mac, Linux, even your phone.
Oh, wow.
And then you have something like LastPass.
Which focuses a lot on seamless integration
Huh?
with your browser.
I've used LastPass, and that autofill is just like magic.
Yes.
It makes logging into websites so much smoother.
Right. And LastPass has added features for securely sharing passwords,
okay.
which is great for families or teams.
That's nice.
And then there's the convenience of the built-in password manager in Chrome.
Right.
It might not have as many features,
Yeah.
but it's right there ready to go.
But as we said before, you do have to be a bit more mindful
Right.
of your overall operating system security with those browser-based options.
Absolutely. So as you can see,
Yeah.
there's a whole spectrum of choices out there,
Well-
each with its own strengths and weaknesses.
It's like choosing a car.
Right.
Some
Yeah.
are built for speed, others are built for safety,
Yeah.
and some are just perfect for getting you from point A to point B.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And just like choosing a car,
Yeah.
the best password manager for you depends on what you value most.
It's a personal decision, but it's not one to be taken lightly.
No.
You know, our online lives are so intertwined with our passwords these days.
Absolutely. That's why this whole area of password manager technology
Yeah.
is so fascinating.
It really is.
It's constantly evolving to stay ahead of the bad guys
And
and to keep our information safe.
speaking of staying ahead,
Yeah.
one of the challenges that always struck me as tricky is that whole domain matching thing.
Ah, yes, domain matching.
Yeah.
It's all about making sure your password manager is only auto-filling your logins
Right.
on the right websites,
Yeah.
not some sneaky fake site
Right.
that's designed to steal your credentials.
Because websites can be tricky, right?
They can.
You got subdomains, different protocols, variations in URLs.
Right.
How do password managers even keep it all straight?
That's the challenge.
Yeah.
They have to use some pretty sophisticated algorithms
Is a-
to analyze those website addresses
Right.
and make sure they match up
Yeah.
with what's in your vault.
It seems like one wrong move and your passwords could end up in the wrong hands.
It's a constant cat and mouse game.
Oh, wow.
Developers are always working on new ways to
Yeah.
improve those algorithms,
Yeah.
to stay ahead of the increasingly creative tactics
Right.
that are used by hackers.
So what kinds of things make domain matching so tricky?
Yeah.
Is it just those sneaky phishing sites we always hear about?
Phishing is definitely a big one, but it goes beyond that.
Okay.
Think about websites that span multiple domains or subdomains.
Like Google, for example.
Exactly.
They have a ton of different subdomains like gmail.com, docs.google.com.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be easy to get confused.
Exactly. The password manager needs to be smart enough to recognize
Right.
that all those subdomains are part of the same parent company.
Okay.
So it uses the right passwords for each one. And then there are things like redirects
Okay.
and iframes.
Redirects, I get those are when you click a link and it takes you to a completely different website
Right.
than you expected. But what are iframes?
Imagine like those little embedded windows
Okay.
within a website that can display content from other sources.
Gotcha.
Think embedded videos, for example.
Ah. So a password manager has to make sure it's not tricked
Hmm.
into autofilling my login information
Exactly.
on one of those embedded windows
Yeah,
that could get messy fast.
exactly. And then there are cases where websites use non-standard login forms
Mhm.
or unconventional methods of authentication,
Right.
which can throw a wrench in the works.
So it's not just about matching the domain name.
Right.
It's about understanding the whole context of
Exactly.
how the website works
Yeah.
and how the login process is set up.
And all of that is before we even get to the issue
Right.
of those capital TCHs.
Oof, cap TCHAs.
Yeah.
I think they're designed to drive me crazy.
They can be annoying,
Yeah.
but they're important for preventing automated attacks.
Okay.
But they also pose a challenge for password managers because, in a way, they're kind of like automated tools themselves.
Interesting. So how do they deal with those?
Well, some will prompt you to manually enter the KPCHA,
Okay.
while others might use optical character recognition or OCR
Right.
to try to solve it automatically.
It sounds like it takes a lot of ingenuity
It does,
on the part of the developers
for sure.
to navigate all of these challenges.
It really does. They're constantly pushing the boundaries
Yeah.
of what's possible to keep our passwords secure.
Yeah, it really is amazing how much complexity goes on behind the scenes just to make sure
Right.
those passwords stay safe.
It is, but at the end of the day, no
Yeah.
matter how sophisticated the technology gets,
Mm-hmm.
the human element is still a major factor.
What do you mean by that?
Well,
I thought the whole point of a password manager was to take the human error
right.
out of the equation.
That's the goal.
Yeah,
But even the best password manager
right.
can't protect you if you choose a weak master password.
Yeah, that's true.
Or worse yet, write it down somewhere.
Oh, yeah. That defeats the purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like any security system.
Right.
It's only as strong as its weakest link.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the social engineering aspects.
Okay.
Like if you get tricked into revealing your master password
Right.
through some clever phishing scam,
Yeah.
well then it's game over.
So user education is still crucial.
Absolutely.
We have to be aware of the risks.
Right.
Learn how to spot those phishing attempts.
Exactly. And that's where I think password managers can play an even bigger role in the future.
Okay.
They could become more like digital security coaches,
Oh, interesting.
offering tips and warnings,
Oh.
even interactive tutorials
Yeah.
to help users stay safe.
I like that idea. It's not just about storing passwords.
Right.
It's about empowering people
Exactly.
to become more security conscious.
That's the key because
Wow.
because at the end of the day,
Yeah,
our online lives are built on trust.
that's true.
We trust these websites and apps, right?
With our data,
Mhm.
our finances, our
Yes.
personal information.
And we need tools
Yeah.
that can help us navigate that trust
Mm,
in a smart,
yes,
secure way.
precisely. Password managers have come a long way.
They really have.
But the journey is far from over.
Yeah, for sure.
As the digital landscape continues to evolve,
Right.
so too will the tools we use to protect ourselves.
It's exciting to think about what the future holds
It is.
for password managers.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll even be able to anticipate threats
Right.
before they even happen.
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah,
The world of cybersecurity is all about innovation and adaptation.
that's true.
But for now,
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that password managers have earned their place
Mhm.
as an essential part of our online lives.
Absolutely. They're those unsung heroes,
That's right.
quietly working in the background
Yeah.
to keep our digital world safe.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into password managers.
It was my pleasure.
And be sure to tune in next time
Yes.
when we explore another fascinating corner
Absolutely.
of the digital world.